Well, hi, friends. Happy whatever day of the week it happens to be for you. It's been a while since I've been here. And I have zero topic for today. I'm going on a big faith push that I'm like, okay, I have this burning, this pull in, I can feel it in my body where it's like, hey, we got to record a podcast. And I'm like, okay, what are we going to talk about? So you and me are going to go on an adventure because I don't actually know what we're going to talk about today. Why don't I start with a little recap and we'll see where that takes us. So where are we at now? 2 weeks ago, we just got back from a trip. We spent 2 weeks overseas, which was very exciting. We spent a little bit of time in Rome while we were transitioning on our way to Greece. If you've ever been to Greece, we went to the island of Naxos in Greece, which is about halfway between Athens and the island of Crete. It was friggin' amazing. I'm still dreaming about that ocean. It was it's the most gorgeous turquoise, clear water I've ever seen in my life. And I live in Calgary where we have the most gorgeous colored water in the rivers and lakes. So it was really amazing. We swam in the Aegean. I loved it. I bought water shoes, which made my swimming so much more wonderful and enjoyable. I always have this concern of stepping on something or something in the sand. So anyway, water shoes, highly recommend if you don't have them. And then we did a quick little jaunt through the Netherlands because, of course, my family is there. So I got to hang out with my niece and nephew for a couple of days and see some family while I was over there. And then we had one evening in London before we headed home. It sounds very jet-settery, kind of was, but it didn't feel that way. It was very relaxing. Our time in Greece was exceptionally relaxing. I love it. One day we took a catamaran tour, and on the way out, so we went from the island of Naxos to Paros, which is right across. They're side by side. And we actually sailed. I've never been sailing before, on the ocean. I've never done that. That was really wild and so peaceful. I'm not an ocean fiend. I love visiting the ocean, but then I'm like, okay, I had enough. I'm going back to my mountains. Okay, thanks, bye. But I could see as I'm sitting on the boat and just loving the blue sky and the water and the wind in my hair and no sound, right? Because there's no motor, which is really amazing. I could see how people would fall in love with sailing. So it was very cool. And then we picked up a cold from one of my family members. Both of us got sick. So the first week back was no fun whatsoever because we thought we'd be in hard catch-up mode in our jobs. And I did my very best, but I legit would make it through the morning of meetings and then I would go lie down for the afternoon. Because that's all I had in me. But something that's really important if you are someone who really feels that you need to push when you're not feeling well, this is something that I've been working with actually a few of my reports as well, is the importance of taking time to rest. Perhaps that's what our topic is going to be today, the importance of rest. So, generally speaking, right, you're sick and it's I can push through. I'll be fine. I'll get some sleep tonight or I'll drink some neocitrin or I don't know, whatever does it for you. But I'll be fine. I'll just push through. What I've learned over the years is if I actually just stop and I rest, and resting could look like just sitting in a chair staring at the ceiling, which I have 100% done. Often I fall asleep because my body's oh, good, we're sitting. Cool. Let's get some sleep. But it could just be sitting in a chair doing nothing. You could be just watching Netflix or whatever. But whatever resting looks like for you, it's that you're not doing. So resting does not look like sitting on the sofa working on your website or building a funnel or building your budget or whatever. Those are activities. Those are things you do. Those are not resting things. Resting is your brain can fully check out. You don't have to worry about anything that you're doing. You're safe, you're warm, you're fed, you just chill out. That's what resting is. So I found that when I actually pause and rest And then the other thing is respond to what my body is asking for. And beyond rest, that usually means oddly high fat foods, which is very interesting to me and like I've struggled with because I'm like, well, these are not in alignment with my health goals or my weight goals or my whatever, but yet my body's like, could we please have some Kraft dinner, or could we please have some chicken noodle soup, even though it's super high in salt, or, and I used to really ignore those and be like, okay, I'll just have, I don't know, a salad. Salads are healthy. But that desire wouldn't go away. And then one time I was like, okay, I'm just going to like give into it and just eat the thing that my body wants. Because obviously it wants it for a reason. So what I've learned I don't feel unwell very often, but when it does happen, I've learned that I need to just allow those to flow through. It does not look like just pigging out on chocolate bars. It does look like intentionally going, hey, is this a thing that my body actually wants? And usually I know because it's been something that I've been wanting for like a day or two, right? Or I can't stop thinking about it all morning long. And I'm like, okay. And so I think, here's my theory, completely non-scientific because I haven't done any research on it, is it's high energy, but like fast energy, right? Like it's not, let's be real, a bowl of Kraft dinner is not healthy energy, but it's fast energy. I think your body can very quickly access what's in it. It's not filling, right? Like that's the big thing. That's why it's not a really healthy food, but it's fast and it's quick. Your body can get to it. So anyway, so those are the two things I've learned. Rest and respond to what your body is asking for. What's interesting to me is, especially as I lead a team, if you have people counting on you, and that can look like parenting or you're a lead or a manager, there's lots of different ways that people, you could be caretaker, lots of different ways that people are counting on you. I think it's even harder for us to take some time and step away. And part of it is that we might not really want to admit it, but I think we get a little bit like savior complex in our heads of like, well, I can't not be here. Everything will fall apart. And if you are not there and it doesn't fall apart, it's a bit of a hit to the ego of like, wait, but like nothing fell apart while I wasn't here. Well, then what am I actually doing here? It's a huge trust exercise the first time that you do it, that you just step away and go, no, I'm just going to, rest, unplug, not respond to my team or not go to meetings or not whatever. The kids are hungry, dad or mom, whoever can feed them, or maybe they'll learn how to fend for themselves. I'm a huge proponent for teaching kids to fend for themselves. Please teach them that. I can't handle when I see like 17, hell, even 14-year-old kids, 20-year-old adults being like, Mom, Dad, I don't know what to eat. It's like, you're old enough. Go find something. Make responsible choices. Teach them how to make responsible choices. Anywho, getting out of my milk box, being able to disconnect and kind of go, oh, the world didn't fall apart without me, can be very humbling. It can also be very freeing. So it's really important to like pay attention to your mental game, what's happening between your ears. It's in the gray squishy stuff, because you'll have all kinds of stories. You could hear, and this I hear a lot in my head, especially if I rest, and it's been something I've been I have been intentionally working on doing nothing. It sounds kind of ridiculous to say that that's something, but it's been a growth edge for me. I watch my boyfriend and he does it quite well. And I'm just like, huh. And I used to get annoyed. Like, what the fuck are you sitting there? You have all these things that you need to do, you want to do, you tell me that it needs to get done, and yet you're just sitting there. Like, what the HE double hockey sticks are you doing? And so then I'm like, well, if he can rest, why can't I rest? Maybe I just need to practice. So I've literally been practicing for, I think this would be a full year now, because that was my intention last Christmas, like holiday season, was that I was going to intentionally do nothing. I was not going to fill, I had 2 weeks off or something like that, and I was not going to fill that time with chores and tasks and to-do lists. I was just going to chill the F out, sit in my chair, do nothing, which included a couple of days literally staring at the ceiling, going, this is me practicing doing nothing. And by the time the end of the 2 weeks came up, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Okay, I could see like how this can be really refueling, right? Like it's really fulfilling in a weird way. So for those of us who are doers, hello, shout out to my generators out there. It's really an important skill, I think, to learn how to rest and to do nothing. So that might be it. That might be all I have to say today. Yeah, I feel like that's all I have to say today. I have noticed a lot of folks around me are coming down with colds, or we've heard people getting COVID or whatever. It is the fall. Seems to be sort of that time of year. All that stuff is moving around. So if that's you, if you're feeling a little under the weather, ladies, if you're on your period, can we just say, pay attention to what your body is asking for, and instead of pushing, pay attention for when it's asking for rest. And here's the last thing I'll say on rest. We feel like, I think often we have to push through, right? And it's like, oh, but all these things, like they're so important, and this project needs to be done by that, and I have to have this conversation with that person by X date, and my boss is this, and my work is that, and the kids need whatever. But oftentimes we're actually creating, I'm going to say false deadlines in our mind, and I'm going to say that is also true for work deadlines. So let me give you a quick example. We're doing quarterly impact reviews right now at my work, and folks have a deadline. So there's part of the review is that everybody does their self-reflection of like, what did they do? What was their impact in their eyes in the quarter? It's super insightful if you're somebody's boss to have them do their self-reflection and then review their self-reflection before you have your impact meeting with them, because you'll learn a lot. And often I'll find no matter how carefully I measure my team's impact, I'm still going to miss one or two things. So the self-reflections are really helpful for like filling any holes that I might have missed. And you get a sense of where your team is at mentally, emotionally, and energetically. So I think they're super amazing. So we set a deadline for when the self-reflections are due. And then for all leads, there's a deadline by like when those conversations need to happen. What I've been learning and paying attention to my team over the last few months is that like they will take that and go to their grave to meet the deadlines. Not because I'm like some slave driver, because they're that kind of people. They're like me in that way, right? Like it's like, no, you've given me, there's no way in hell that I am not going to make this goal, target, deadline, whatever it is. I'm going to get it done, even if I'm barely surviving. And where I've had to lean into, and this is learning I've had to do, and I learned from a very strong lead that I had in the past, of like when you call it a fail, like when you're just like, okay, I completely effed up on that. Like we're just going to fully chalk that up into the fail column and let's start afresh, right? Sometimes it's that, but sometimes, hey, ask if you can flex. The amount of times that like I see people stressing out, where to the point, legit, this week alone, I've had to have a few conversations of like, hey, I know we have these deadlines, but like, you're not feeling, go home. Like, why are you here? And the response is, well, this needs to be done by that time, and I need to get those things done. Yeah, those are all flexible. Like, nobody's going to die if you don't have that conversation by the end of the month. If you and I are working together and you're like, yo, Amy, I'm trying everything I can, but like, I really want to do this well, and it's just taking me a little bit longer. Is it cool to have it like in the first week in November? Yes, of course it is. Please take care of yourself. So be mindful of when you're locking yourself into false targets, false deadlines, false goals. Goals are so fascinating to me. There's something that I am doing a lot of like healing and intentional learning and discovery around, because I have lots of what I would probably call goal trauma, just from my past, because I've been around on the planet for a little while. That like I have this like, I don't even know. I'm not going to go into it, but like this thing about goals. And so I have to remind myself, actually pretty often, hey, this goal is literally just a thing I made up in my head. That's all it is. And I made it up in my head using all kinds of logic and reasoning and probably some like data points and different pieces of context that have informed why that should be my goal and why that should have XYZ deadline and blah, blah, blah. But like straight up, it's a thing I made up in my head. That's all that it is. So if I made it up in my head, it's not set in stone. I can change it. I can flex to it. I can go, hey, I thought I would have this thing done by, Friday, but this week has taken a turn, or this month has taken a turn, or like, Jesus, like I have no mental bandwidth to do the thing. So I have had to learn to go, it's not going to get done now. And I've yet to have somebody, a boss, a manager, a report, anybody come to me and be like, that's unacceptable. It's never yet happened. Maybe it will happen. I have no idea. Don't need to pull that into my life. But like, it just hasn't. Because all this stuff we just make up in our mind. And on that note, everything in your reality is stuff that you have literally made up in your mind. That is the basis of manifestation. You are like, yo, I want to have blue pants with purple stars on them with pink fuzzy cuffs. You made that up in your head, decided that was the be-all and end-all. You had to have them. So you created them, bought them, stole them, found them, I don't know. And now you have them. But they were legit just something that you made up in your head. Everything around you is something that was made up in somebody's head. And you saw it, heard it, felt it, experienced it, whatever, and went, yeah, I want that in my life. So just a heads up. Everything that's in your reality, you have made up in your gray, squishy bits. So maybe be kinder to yourself and like chill the fuck out and go, hey, maybe right now I need to just rest and do nothing and stare at the ceiling like Amy keeps telling me is important to do. And maybe I do have Kraft dinner for lunch instead of the salad that I had planned that's more in line with my goals, because that's when my body is going, hey, can we please have whatever it is? I also love Mr. Noodles noodles, like the ramen noodles, but specifically the Mr. Noodles brand. That one's my favorite. All right, team. See, here we go. We're 18 minutes in. I had 18 minutes worth of stuff to talk about. I don't think I've ever found myself in a place where I don't have something to talk about. But I'm glad I sat down. I'm not standing. Goodness gracious. I am not sitting. I am standing because it's sunny and I just felt like it. I wish you a fantastic rest of the day. More to come. I really actually need to completely change the description of this podcast. If you've been listening for a while and going, Amy, where's all the business stuff? Yeah, we're evolving and I am just rolling with it and practicing being okay with it because I know there's big things to come. I'm really excited for what is in the gestation of creation. It's going to be really wild and amazing, and I'm excited about it. But in the meantime, I don't know what's coming. I have no idea, but I'm showing up for it. And if you're here with me, thanks for showing up for it with me. Have an amazing rest of the day. Make it your own. Bye.